Hey guys, so I finally finished the crocheted shawl. I'm sorry it took me so long. I had to try a couple different things because I wanted to make it as easy as I possibly could. Now, my criteria for being easy was we don't have any complicated stitches, just one stitch. There's a couple of chain, it's like a chain 2 when you start a new row, but then the whole thing's in double crochet. Single crochet would have been too stiff. And then my second criteria was that every row is the same thing. So it's not like you have to keep track of do this one row and then this the next row. You don't have like any A, B rows or anything like that. It's just the same thing, so you don't have to think about it. So it didn't come out quite the traditional triangle shape. It's a 5-point, but I think it came out pretty nice. So I'm going to show you guys how I did this one, and then at the end of the video I'll put a couple of different things because I know people have asked to do certain stitches, but I wanted to make it as easy as I could, so it's just a couple of things I found out while trying different stuff. If you want to try to change what stitch you're doing, just things to keep in mind. So let's get started on this. I've got a 5.5mm hook, and I just have some pink yarn to show you with because it's a little more visible than the white. Okay, so I've got the end here. Ignore the mess, I've got a million different projects going right now. So you're going to take the end and you're just going to start with a slip knot. And then we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So now you're going to do a double crochet back into this first chain here. So to do that, you just take the yarn from the back, up around the front, into your chain. So now you have 3 loops on here, and you go pull it through the first 2, pull it through the second 2. So that's going to give you your first stitch up here. I'll do it a second time, around, there. Now you have 3, so you're going to pull it through 1, 2, 1, 2. Now this first, where you chain the 2 here, this does not count because you still only have the 2 on the top here, 1, 2. So I'm going to do 5 more so that I have a total of 7. So not counting this, 1, 2, 7. So I have my original post here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on there. So now for each change of the row, you're going to chain 1, 2, turn it, and then you can go right back in to your first stitch again. So on each side, every row, what you're going to do, can't get it focused, there we go, is you're going to double crochet into the first one, and then that second stitch from the edge, you're going to put 2. 1, 2. So always put 2 into the next to the last stitch. On this side we'll do it as well. There, so we're 1, 2 in. 4 is the center stitch, so we're going to leave that, and this one here is going to be our second increase. So we're going to do 2 in that as well. 1, 2, that'll be the second point of the 5 points. Now this one here is the center. There, that's a little more focused. So this one here is the center, so we're going to put 3 stitches into the center every time. 1, 2, 3. So that's the center. So now this is going to be the 4th point. So we're going to increase once there. So put 2 stitches. 1, 2, and then we have 2 stitches left. So this is the last, so next to the last we're also going to put 2. last one gets 1. There. So it seems like a lot of increases, but it does come this way a little bit, because any other way that I could find to do it, it wouldn't go across straight, it would go this way. It wasn't enough, and I did not like the look. So it's always better to come this way than have it curve this way. Okay, so row 3, same thing each row. We're going to chain 2 and turn. 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 1, 2. Okay, so now for the second increase point, we're going to see it's going to land here this time. We've got 1 and 2. So for this point over here and this point over here, between the edge and the center, there's always going to be 2 stitches. You always want to work in the first stitch that you come to. So we've got 2 here. So we're just going to work across to it. There's 1 stitch in between. So we've got our second point here, 1, 2. We're going to work into the first one, an extra stitch. 1, and 2. And yes, that does put this increase closer to this side, because when you work around here, you're going to work in the first you come to as well. But then when you turn, it's going to be the first and then the first. So as you go, it will all even itself out. So now for the point, we're going to find 1, 2, 3, and you're going to work 3 into the center of those. Okay, there's the center, so I'm going to make 1, 2, it slipped, 3. So now we're going to work across until we get to our 4th point. Okay, so we've got the 2 from our 4th point here, so we're going to work into the first one and make the extra. Okay, so now we're going to work back up to the next to the last right here. Okay, last stitch next to the last, so we're going to make 2 in here. 1, 2, and then work the last stitch. So you can kind of see this shape starting here. As you go, it will become more pointed, and you're just going to keep doing that same thing. Work the first, work 2 into the second, work until you get the second point, and always work 2 into the first, 3 at the bottom, and then the same on this side. So let me get the one that I've finished and show you what that looks like, a little bit bigger scale. So once you've done more, each individual point becomes very much more pronounced. Mine kind of went a little off as I was trying to figure it out. So you always have your first stitch, and you always increase 2 there. And then this is going to be your second point. Whether you're working this way, you work the first one, or if you're working this way, you work the first one. So that point will increase 1 each time, and then you increase 2 at the bottom point. So you have 3, 3, 3 each time. So each row you are increasing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is what the final shape looks like, as best as I can show you at the moment. So these ones, this second and fourth point will stay straight because each time you're increasing this side, then this side, then this side, then this side. So that keeps itself straight. Okay, Now, if you want to try to change what stitch you're doing it with, doing on a shawl, the things to keep in mind are different stitches are different widths. So like if I did this same increase pattern with a single crochet, it wouldn't come out the same angle because this one goes further. You need to balance out your increases with how far they go. Now the really good thing about shawls is that if you do like 5 or 6 rows, you can see how it's going to come out. It's very difficult, I found, to get like a straight across line for crochet. The knit one was way easier. So you just have to try, like if there's a stitch you want, try it. Try it with an increase here, here, maybe 2 increases in the center, you know? 1 on each side and the 2 in the middle. And then do a few rows and see how it comes out. If this comes out angled more like this, you'll know you need to increase more. If you increase more every row and it comes out too much like this, maybe you need to increase every other row. So, like I said, it's a very easy thing to see quickly. It's not like you have to work for hours and hours to see if it's going to work out or not. And it is one of those things, you just try it, see if it works. Because the thing with crocheting and knitting is you can always take it back out. Now, another thing that you can do if you want to even something out is you can alternate what stitches you're using. So you could do, like if you did this same increase pattern with like a triple crochet, it would probably come out more flat because you're going out further. So yeah, whenever there's something you see, if you want to change it, especially a shawl is pretty basic. I mean, it's not like it has to be fitted or anything. Just try it. Try your stitches, play around with your increases, see what you think, and hopefully I explained everything okay. I always do my best, but then I always feel like I didn't explain it very well. So as always, if you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll do my best to explain it better or differently. But yeah, I just have some of these left that I need to weave in, and then this one will be packaged up. I'll buy a little gift bag, and it's going for a baby shower in September.